welcome back to Smashing as a Podcast. This is going to be our recap for almost a double agents, but it's All Stars, the Challenge All Stars finale, part 1 and 2.
That's right. We've been going a long while, everybody.
First of all, I haven't introduced you.
You're
yet.
right. No, that's my mistake.
I haven't even introduced myself yet.
Go ahead.
My name's Zach, and Hannah's here.
Yep.
Jake's here too. Well, he's not here.
Yeah, how's everybody doing tonight? And specifically, how's Han doing? This is the first time Han and I have spoken in a week and a half. So
she's been in Florida. You can see her tan lines from people listening can't, but Jake can see it.
I'm Filipino.
By the way, Zach told me about your sleeping conditions.
Awful.
I don't understand.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
So
we don't have time for that. We got a lot to get into today.
I was just gonna say I'm about 5'4". The bed was 5 foot. It's a little smaller than a full size bed. My 16-year-old sister shared the bed with me, and she spooned me very hard, like second skin, every night, and it was my favorite thing in the world.
That sounds like how I spoon my dog every night.
I couldn't sleep like that. No way.
Like she was squeezing me with her arms.
Yeah.
It was incredible. I loved it because Zach doesn't do that with me.
I can't sleep if anybody's moving or touching me. It's just how it is.
You don't like to be touched in general, though, not just when you're sleeping.
Right.
You know, it's got to be the right situation.
It's a character flaw.
Yeah.
It is a character flaw.
Well, when I was building myself in the character creator screen, I put all the stat attributes in, like being so smart and being so good at everything that I just had to take it out of some other players.
So handsome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to max those out. You got to have the charisma,
which was a mistake on your end, because as handsome as you are, that would make people want to touch you more.
I know it's a double-edged. It's my cross to bear.
Yeah,
but it's what happens.
So
you know when you're making yourself like we all did at the beginning of our lives,
like we all did.
You gotta live and die by those choices, and you know it's my burden. Some call it a blessing.
You would call it a curse.
I'd call it a curse.
Well, as all the old people on Facebook say, prayers going up.
Is that what they all say?
That's what they all say, and I can't stand it.
Yeah. So we decided last week we're gonna just do 1 and 2 of the finale. By the way, patreon.com/SmashingHeads podcast. It's what we did for Double Agents. These finales are all one big event, so like it just splits it right in the middle, and so it's easier to do them all as one big thing. We will be doing another season during this break because season 37 has not given any sort of announcement. I know they're filming right now, but I'd say we got time to watch a whole nother season, right?
Yeah, we got time.
Maybe not like a War of the Worlds or the ones that go like 22 episodes or whatever they are, but I think here's what I'm thinking. Honestly, we can get this out right now. After seeing flashbacks from All Stars, I kind of want to go back and watch the Gauntlet 3 again.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
You haven't?
I'm more than happy to watch it, but I think
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it probably about a year ago.
Okay.
And you had dropped that in our Slack group actually with our patrons, and I think it was Grimm that pointed out not a great season, and I actually agree with him. But I am more than happy to watch it.
Well, what we'll do is we'll put a poll up on Patreon and see. We'll probably select 3 or 4 seasons and see what our patrons want to listen to. Again, patreon.com/SmashingHeads podcast. It's got to be one that's available to watch either through Netflix or Paramount Plus.
I would almost I have the choices be seasons that primarily consisted of a good handful of people that were on All Stars, since we just watched that.
Well, that's kind of where again, because they showed clips of it, and I know Easy was on there. But I'm not opposed to that. We'll need to do a little bit of research to see what's available. And isn't the Gauntlet 2 on Netflix?
I know there's like 2 seasons on Netflix, but I haven't opened my Netflix account in months.
But you're still paying for it.
I am.
Yeah. No, I haven't honestly watched a lot of Netflix recently. I know that the challenge is on there, but it's only like 2 random seasons, and so I'm thinking we might. That's just super easy. Everyone's got Netflix, it seems. I'm actually looking to see what seasons are on here.
And then Hulu has like the Dirty 30 trilogy.
Yeah, which we're not doing that. That's too recent. It's the Inferno 2. That's what it was. Like it's Derek and CT and the Miz and like it's a solid cast back then.
Yeah.
So we may need to look at that. But anyway, we'll talk about that with our patrons later. You good?
I'm drinking a smoothie and I think a seed got in my throat. You remember that episode of the Magic School Bus?
Which one?
Yes.
Where the seed got lodged in that kid's throat and they had to shrink the school bus and go in. And
I remember what
they didn't show at the end of the episode was that he died.
The kid with the glasses?
Yeah.
Ralphie? Is his name Ralphie?
I don't think his name's Ralph. That's a Christmas story.
Yeah, no, there's been more than one Ralphie in the years of fiction.
I don't know about that.
I remember them going inside that kid.
They also did that in SpongeBob when Squidward got his clarinet thing stuck in his throat.
The reed? Is it the reed?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that, if I'm being honest, but I do remember the Magic School Bus one.
Yeah.
Also, I have a post that's going to be going up on Patreon that is, it's already been teased in our Slack group that I think people are going to be real excited about. You guys know what it is. It's some things that are being in the works. And so again, patreon.com/podcast. You just have to check it out, guys.
I'm excited about it. Excited about it.
Yeah, I am too. And I think we'll talk later. We got some other things we got to talk about. But let's just go ahead and get into this finale. You got anything before we jump in?
About the finale, I do, yes.
Okay.
In a broad sense, we're going to work our way through this thing, but in a broad sense, this season was perfect. It was great, but I have a real gripe about
I saw what you're complaining about. I disagree.
I think it is a severe flaw. I think it totally takes away, maybe not totally, but it takes a lot away from how good this season was.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Like, for that to be the only complaint about this season, really, like, that's a miracle. Like this season was so well polished and so like thoughtfully produced, and like they focused on nostalgia and people having fun, and it wasn't an easy season. These were hard dailies. These were hard, the crazy hard final. Like it wasn't like the finals from back in the day. And I actually
really enjoyed that structure of the final.
Yeah, every single person finished too.
The changing up of the partners every leg and everything. You had this point system. Like I don't know that we've seen it exactly like that where there's like a point system.
No, I think when we've seen it where you change partners in the past,
it's like your time builds up.
Yeah, right? And it's just a rate. Like you had 25 minutes in this first part, and that. Specifically, what was it? The one that Devin Simone was on.
Oh, yeah.
What did you just say?
I thought you were trying to think of Devin and Cheyenne, and I was like, I don't think they did that.
Didn't they do the
Devin Simone? The girl Devin.
Didn't they do the accumulated time and switching partners thing when Zach gassed out on that mountain?
Yeah, with Laurel. Yeah, and I think that was the one with Devin because everyone was worried about being partnered with Devin, and they're like, oh, you want her in the canoe part because that's easy. Which, again, guys, if you're going to be on the challenge, there's going to be canoeing or kayaking of some sort.
I like canoeing.
And
it almost kind of amazes me that quite a few people struggle with it.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
I mean,
we've never done it in as huge of bodies of water as what they're doing it in.
Yeah, maybe we should.
But most of it's just technique and sitting in the wrong spots.
Oh, I do have one thing to provide or to say before we get going. Let me actually let me see if I can find it. So I think I've mentioned before, we may have some listeners from these challenge Facebook groups.
Okay. Yeah, we do. I know we do.
Yeah.
Do we really? Do we know them?
Yeah. So.
Well, anyway, I've decided to just start dropping in there and just calling people goofy for their goofy takes, because 99% of it is, hey man, what year did this season drop? And it's called Google, my guy. Google that thing. Well, this guy, I'm not gonna give his last name. His name's Henry. He gave this take. He's talking about All Stars. He said kind of disappointed in these past two episodes of the final. Who in production thinks it's good TV or defines competitive fire and athletic and strategical excellence with all the dumb eating stuff? So dumb. Always has been. Nobody wants to see half the people crying, gagging, and puking their brains out. To which I just said, Henry, this is just a goofy take, bub. And I really don't understand his response. He just said, no, it's too real, Holmes. If I say I don't like it, it's a no-go. Do I make myself crystal clear, my man? I just didn't say anything. So my new gig is to drop into these crazy...
You're just going to be a villain?
I'm just going to be like, you're weird, man. It's weird.
Right.
I think that's a bad take just because the eating stuff is an equalizer. Like, it is a mental thing as much as it is anything. And like we saw it in Double Agents with Fessy, like he couldn't do it. And there's some people who just struggle so much with that.
The eating challenges are an equalizer.
That's literally what I just said.
I know. I'm just saying, like,
okay.
like you could be someone who is totally counted out of this final and be able to put away the food without so much as breaking a sweat. And that could totally just, again, like if you are someone like John A, that everybody there is like, she's not going to do well. We're not even really seriously considering her a threat. And if she got in there and ate everything off the plate, finished first, that gets her way more points than the rest of you.
Well, Alton and John A finished second in the eating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I love the eating challenges also because it's really funny to watch.
Yeah, I think that, like, if anything, in some of the more recent seasons in the finales, we're like, where is something like this? Because it's also like when you're in the middle of such an exhausting physical thing, the last thing you want to do is eat, especially eat gross stuff that's going to like take a toll on your body. And whoever, Henry, come on, man.
Yeah, Henry, if any of y'all know, if you listen, that's a weird take. If any of y'all know Henry, let him know it's a weird take.
Yeah, make sure he's doing okay.
Yeah, make sure Henry's doing all right. I don't know why he called me Holmes, but it's fine.
Well, you called him Bub, like you're Wolverine.
Yeah, but that's not. I don't know. I don't know. It's just a weird like comeback. Holmes.
Okay, maybe his favorite NFL player was Santonio
Priest Holmes.
No, Santonio Holmes.
Priest Holmes was better though.
So yeah, we start this finale, part one, which was a week ago, so I'm just going off of my notes.
We started off with Naughty by Nature.
Hey Ho. That was the first note I have, is just said Hey Ho, because that was the song that was playing.
Hip Hop Hooray.
Yeah, but I just wrote the main.
We actually listened to that song last night, did we not?
I don't think I did.
I definitely listened to Savage Garden, To the Moon and Back, which was the song they ended with.
Wait, I don't know that Savage Garden song.
Are you kidding me?
Wait, are you talking about your brother's graduation last night?
No.
Oh, I was like, why would they pick that song?
That would be better. I think they played Morgan Wallen or something.
They would. Of course they would. Anyway.
You don't know that song?
I was thinking Graduation Sense, and I was like, what's Savage Garden song when they use for graduation?
That Savage Garden album is top notch.
I think they're they're solid.
Yeah, they're really good.
There's a lot of good music choices in this final. Yeah. So Darrell hasn't been to a final in 14 years, which I can't even remember what the last one it was, but he's never lost. We all knew that. But again, the finals 14 years ago were something completely different. It's just Darrell had a good showing overall. Like it proved that he still got it. Again, this was not an easy final. He finished second, and he only lost by 2 points, I think, total. But yeah, I mean, it was a good showing for him. Anissa and Hasela basically talk before the final starts to kind of like clear the air, I guess.
Well, it was really Anissa's doing.
Yeah, I mean,
she was
Hasela's
the one
like,
that was
I'm done with you forever.
that was trying to make amends with Hasela, trying to talk it out. Like, hey, you kind of took this the wrong way. This is not at all what really happened. And And then Hasela comes back by telling Anissa that Anissa was ready to throw away their friendship for a game.
Hasela
which
said,
is the exact opposite. Yeah. Hasela was the one that was saying she was cutting people out of her life. So that was just dumb.
Again, I don't really understand Hasela's thought process in a lot of this stuff.
Then we found out that the final was going to be broken up over a couple of days.
Yeah, which I kind of expected just because that's been the format for the last 7-8 years, something like that. Like they've been doing that, and we did find out Kellyanne wants to start an animal nonprofit, and it had like a little montage of her like training dogs.
We love animals here, so we will support.
I know that she has a German Shepherd. I mean, not German Shepherd, a Saint Bernard. I don't know if she got the love of those when her and Wes were together back in the day.
Maybe
they both had Saint Bernards, and so yeah, she wanted to do that again. Great showing overall for Kellyanne. And as Jake said, we all do it. Hannah and I are currently fostering a puppy from the Humane Society that they needed to foster for 2 weeks.
Hannah, have you decided you wanted to keep her yet?
We're not keeping her.
He won't let me.
We're not keeping her.
But you want to.
I have woken up hours before my alarm the last 2 mornings, and I get up and I take her out, and she's usually pottied in the crate. So I take her out to the yard. I take her out to the yard every morning to potty again, and then I give her a bath, and then we potty again. Today, actually, I was in a rush because I had to go to the office and get some work done, and so I had to bathe her again and then take her with me while she was still a little wet. So that was fun, but she loves car rides, which is awesome. Like she'll just kind of sit there and hang out. And then I took her in the office with me, and she was great in there. And then the whole drive home, she just slept.
You should just strap her to the top of the vehicle and just let her ride.
Yeah, we could.
Maybe.
She is a good dog, but it did remind me how like draining like the puppy stage is, because it's not even just like to go in the bathroom and in the house or whatever. It's like constantly chewing and trying to destroy things and like getting into stuff. They like, you don't like, we haven't had a puppy like this. Like Buster's 5, and so it's been a while, and you forget just like how constant you have to have your attention at all times. And
she doesn't really chew on a lot of things.
She does.
Not when I'm around. Yeah. I don't have to get onto her for chewing on things. The only thing is watching her constantly to make sure she doesn't pee in the house, especially on my rug.
But she's already peed on that rug.
I did not know that until an hour ago. Maybe
it's fine.
He didn't tell me. I told him, I said, the only place I do not want her peeing in this house is on my white rug. And he said, well, she's already done that. And I said, you didn't tell me that.
But she didn't notice.
Just take some bleach to it.
Rug.
Yeah. So we get back into we find out the format of this challenge.
We also find out that the losing pairing at the end of the second checkpoint are automatically eliminated out of the game.
I thought that was weird that was the only point someone got eliminated.
Yeah. And thinking back on it now, because like we just watched episode 2 or the part 2 of the finale. And I had forgotten that Derek and Hasela were eliminated after the second checkpoint. If they're doing that, they should have at least eliminated another team at the next checkpoint or 2 checkpoints later.
How many checkpoints were there? Do we know?
Felt like 12.
I don't have it written down. There was at least
there was enough for every people to switch partners.
Yeah. So there's at least 5.
All right. So let's say there are 5. You started out with 6 teams, right?
Well, then there would have been probably 6 or 7 to begin with, because they got eliminated after checkpoint 2, right?
Yeah.
So, but my point is, like, all right, if you've got 6 teams, let's say by day 2 you want to be down to 3 teams. So at checkpoint 1, eliminate the last place team. At checkpoint 3, eliminate the male and female that have the least amount of points. At checkpoint 5, do the same thing. And then by day 2, you're down to 3 teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just weird that out of 5, 6, whatever checkpoints, they got eliminated at 1, and it was checkpoint 2.
Well, the problem with that idea is
the whole different partner every time.
Partners, yeah, because you're going to have people being eliminated that haven't been partnered up or things like that, and so you're going to have to start having repeat partners, and then that's going to get confusing to who gets to be what partner. So I kind of get why they kept it this way, to just let everyone cycle through. But it again, first place in every one of the mini parts got 5 points. Second got 4, and so on. And again, you get a new partner every mini challenge. It's just whoever sucked the most at canoeing, you basically were going to lose. I mean, get eliminated like right off the bat. And
if you think you're going to be on the challenge, go home or go somewhere where there's a lake or a river. Learn how to kayak, learn how to canoe, and practice and get good at it.
It's almost like, we've had a lot of people over the years, Cara, Leroy, like people that like said swimming, they're not good at swimming. And so like in the off season, they're like, oh, I've been practicing swimming, whatever. And like canoeing is as much a part of the challenge now as swimming is sometimes.
Or running.
Yeah. But I mean, like I was saying, like a specific skill that like you've got to like build up if you're not used to it. You can run. I think anybody can run, but obviously running long distance is different.
But if it's like a major hike, like the last leg of this was, or if it's a sprint, like a foot race, if you have not been working on your endurance in the off season, it's your own fault that you're not doing well, because you know to expect it. So you know to expect to canoe or kayak.
Well, I mean, you saw who came in the very last of the hard climb, the hike at the very end. It was the two people who don't have endurance, and I mean that's part of it.
Hey, and have you ever thought about the regiment you'd have to go through to get good at swimming if you were on the challenge?
I don't know where you'd start. You'd have to just take lessons, I guess. Like I know, like I think Leroy said he took lessons between seasons before.
Mm-hmm.
Because is it just a mechanics thing, or like
probably some sort of breathing involved?
Yeah, I guess breathing, maybe like calming your nerves if you get panicky in water. I don't know. It's again, hand can't swim. We've all talked about it.
Stop.
you guys are gonna have some insight on that soon.
Stop.
That's a little teaser, but
it is summer.
It is.
And I just spent a couple days in the ocean,
and
which baffles Zach, because I will get out in the ocean with creatures in the water. I'll get like chest, shoulder, neck deep in the water. That
scares me, Han.
Why does that baffle me?
Because you're like, you can't swim. Why would you go out that deep? Plus the current can pull you further out.
That's true. Yeah. If you don't know what you're doing, that current can grab you and take you away quick.
That actually happened on our last day.
Oh,
my dad was fishing off the shore and
he caught somebody.
No, he caught a couple stingrays, but that's
what killed Steve Irwin.
It is. This one wasn't that one though. There were these two kids that one was probably like 8 or 9, and the other one was probably by around like 5 or 6. So the 5 or 6-year-old had a donut float that they were wearing. And so the two kids went out in the water and were swimming around, and the smaller one on the float got out a little too deep where she couldn't touch the sand or the bottom with her feet, and the current started pulling her out, and she was stuck, and the other kid was like screaming and didn't know what to do. And so she was just yelling, and my dad can't hear like hardly at all. And so I was yelling at him to go get her.
Jake, we need you to pray for him.
And the two kids, I guess I don't know if it was their parents or their grandparents, the guardians, they weren't doing anything. They were just like standing at the shore watching it happen. And I was like, oh my God, what is happening? So my dad finally realized what was going on, dropped his fishing pole and like jumped out there and had to save her because the current was pulling her out.
Well, thank God
they stayed out of the water those kids stayed out of the water for the rest of the day. So, but my dad's a great swimmer.
Yeah.
He saved a life that day.
He can't hear, but he can swim.
Yeah. I think it's funny that you pointed out that he didn't catch the stingray that killed Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
Nope.
No, it wasn't that one.
Yeah.
We know for a fact it wasn't.
Your dad, just by looking at him, seems like a real disciplinarian, and I would like to imagine that if he did catch the one that killed Steve Irwin, he would give it a good whooping.
He'd kill it and like return it to the family and be like, "Look what I did for you."
Yeah. You reap what you sow.
Yeah. So as we said, last place team is eliminated. Basically, there's a puzzle to start off with, checkpoint 1, and it's a tanagram or whatever, and you basically pair off. So whatever guy finishes first pairs off with the girl that finishes first, and then you get in a canoe and you go from there. And that's just random. Like, you don't get to pick your first partner. It is just whoever finishes in what order. And I say it's random, except that Yes had a strategy with that. But first, Alton and Anissa finished first because Anissa's good at puzzles. Alton, I honestly couldn't remember, but they really screw up because they don't know how to get in a boat. And Alton gets way too far in the front end of it, and he's like weighing him down in the when the waves hit. Which
is ironic because this entire season we've been joking that Alton is a fisherman 24/7, but he's apparently no canoeing man.
He may just fish from the shore. There's a difference being out on a boat. So they go. Then Darrell and Jonnae are second. Hasela and Derek are third, which that's going to come in. They finished third. But Yes was basically done with his puzzle. He just had one piece left, and he was holding off, and he's like, I want to team up with Jimmy for this first part. He's like, because I don't know how some of these other people can do in this. And if he would have finished when he did, he would have been partnered up with Hasela. And he held off until Jimmy was done, and then they put the last piece in at the same time, and both said done. They're partnered. Smart move from the beginning, because obviously Hasela and Derek got eliminated.
Yeah. Yes is out here playing chess while the rest of them are playing checkers.
I mean, he's an architect. Yeah. He's a smart man.
What surprised me, I think, the most on this particular checkpoint was the fact that Big Easy struggled with this puzzle. And that really threw me for a loop because, like, what two episodes prior, he excelled and beat everybody's butts at a puzzle.
Well, yeah, he came in last.
Dead clock is right twice a day.
That's true. I mean, I don't know if we call him a dead clock, but
a broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah. He couldn't get it for whatever reason, so that put Kellyanne.
If it has batteries, the clock's dead.
Yeah, I got it.
If it has batteries, it's dead?
If it has dead batteries, it's dead.
Okay, well, you just said if it has batteries, it's dead.
Yeah. Ruthie and Mark were in 5th place in the Kellyanne and Big Easy, and then everyone's on the water. Alton and Anissa flip. Apparently, they actually flipped twice. They didn't show it because they were just taking on so much water because Alton was in the front, and every time the waves would crash over, it would go in their boat.
Because he was not even sitting on like an actual seat.
He's sitting in a hole.
And I don't think he realized that. He was just, the weight distribution was totally off. And like, I even made it out. I was like, he needs to move ASAP. Also that I was utterly blown away at these people canoeing because nobody knows where to sit. And nobody knows how to hold a paddle. Specifically, Derek and Hasela.
I bet you Yes knew how to sit and where to paddle. I mean,
but
how to paddle.
But it's like a lot of them did not even know how to paddle, much less how to hold their paddle. Because Derek and Hasela, especially, were the ones that were just driving me insane. Because with a canoe paddle, you've got the bar that you hold sideways with one hand. And then you take your other hand on the top of the handle. It's got like a little flattened part at one end of the bar, and you put your hand over the top of that. And they were not even doing that. They were holding it. What is it? The weightlifting bars where you have one hand facing out, one hand facing in.
I'm gonna let Jake.
Talking about doing a pull up.
Maybe, I don't know, but that's just what it looks like. You're supposed to, and I know our listeners can't see what I'm doing. You're supposed to hold it like this, a canoe paddle, but they were holding it like this or like this.
They just weren't using the end of the paddle like to give them any leverage and like really dig in the water.
Yeah, you're supposed to put that paddle deep in the water.
The whole like blade should be against the water to like, so you get as much like tension so you can propel yourself forward.
You don't put the paddle half in the water and then kind of skim the surface of the water, because then you're not doing anything except exerting your own energy and wasting it.
Well, maybe they'll learn next time. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Hasela is in a knee brace, like just in real life now.
Really?
Like, I think she really like messed up her knee in that thing with Big Easy, that elimination.
Mm-hmm.
So in the canoeing stuff, Darrell and John A are first. Yes, and Jimmy second. Mark and Ruthie third. Out and Anissa fourth. Kellyanne and Big Easy fifth. And then Derek and Hasela eliminated right away.
It's the saddest canoeing performance I have ever seen in my life. Ever.
I don't know if that's the worst we've seen.
It's the worst I've ever seen.
I'm just thinking like challenge. I know we've had some people that have been really bad at canoeing stuff. It may be the worst. I don't know. But we get to the third checkpoint, and John A gets to pick her partner
because she and Darrell got first in the last checkpoint. So she gets to choose her partner, and then Darrell gets to choose his partner, which is nice.
So John A picks Yes, Darrell picks Jimmy, then Ruthie picks Big Easy, Mark picks Anissa, and then so it's Out and then Kellyanne, and it's tethered bikes.
You got to put your bike together too.
Yeah.
Could you have done this, Zach?
Yeah.
No.
No, I could.
No, I couldn't have. No,
he said Zach.
I can't. I know for a fact I couldn't put a bike together.
It's easy. That was it's basically like just
IKEA, but for exercise.
Well, it's just like Allen wrenches and then like a little like I don't know, like 3/8 inch wrench or something like that to put the nuts on.
See, I'm the kind of person that, like, when I buy things that need to be put together, I will do it without looking at the directions, and then I'll be I'll get 90% of it correct, but I'll miss just one or two little things that are very important, and I won't realize it because they don't look like they're important pieces, and then I jack around and mess myself up, kind of like Mark did, where he lost one of his pedals.
Yeah, so I think that was more of a user error because I've had to replace pedals on bikes before, and like because of the way that you pedal, I think pedals are counter threaded to where you have to screw them in backwards so they don't come loose whenever you're pedaling. And so anyway, I had a bike in college that I had to do stuff like this on, and you got to tighten the handlebars, otherwise you'll end up with like what Jimmy was doing, where like it's at like a 45-degree angle but her wheel's straight. And so I don't know, it's
Here's what I would say, Han, is that I hope you don't look at people the same way you do parts to a bike, that some pieces aren't as important. A little bit,
Great.
Is that supposed to mean something?
So in this one, Yes and John A finished first with getting the bikes because, of course, Yes is going to be good at it. And then Anissa and Mark, and then Darrell and Jimmy, and they actually bring the tool with them. They're the first team that says, hey, should we bring this? And they're like, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Darrell apparently goes biking and camping all the time.
Posted a picture today.
And he says every single time they go camping, he takes his bikes completely apart. So he's got experience and familiarity with this. And so the fact that they decided to take the little piece with them,
it was like a multi-tool.
I mean, that's thinking 10 steps ahead, because I mean, you could end up being like some of the several other people that ended up having pieces fall apart or need adjusting and not having anything to do it with.
No, that was smart. I mean, Darrell posted a picture of his whole family out riding bikes either today or yesterday. And so then Ruthie and Easy, Alton and Kellyanne, and Alton and Kellyanne do really well on the bikes. They're both in really good shape.
Kellyanne said that Alton was the perfect partner. I think she was right because I don't know if you've noticed, he is really good about giving positive affirmation and clear guidance, clear direction to whoever he's partnered with. And
he's also handsome.
He's real pretty, and he has such a gentle spirit about him. So when you're in like a high stakes, very pressure and filled and stressful environment like this, where, you know, if it's someone like me, where if I'm under a lot of stress, I start to freak out and my brain will start to shut down and I can't think properly of what I need to be doing. I just freak out. He is someone who would kind of talk you down off the ledge, calm you down, and give you the next step to take and encourage you the whole way. And so I think anybody that's partnered with him enjoyed that leg of the race, because he was everybody talked about how great of a partner he was.
Did the next thing, what happened after the bikes? Because I apparently was kind of vague on my notes. What was right after the bikes? Do you guys remember?
Carolina Reapers.
Okay, that's what it was. I just, for some reason, I thought that's what it was based on like context, but
well, there was a like a foot race a little bit, wasn't there?
They had to eat the Carolina Reapers and then foot race because everybody started yakking.
I have a note that after Yes and John A got first place with the bikes, Yes used my favorite phrase to describe Kellyanne, which is quote unquote bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. He said that's what she was, which is great. I say that all the time.
Was that?
And then Ruthie said that Darrell made this fun, and he threw her over his shoulder
that's
to
later.
run past Mark and John A. And then I have checkpoint 4, which is starting off with Carolina Reapers.
Okay, so
there was a little bit of a foot race.
Okay, yeah, you're right, because I have Yes killed it, and then John A was next, then Easy, Darrell, Anissa, and it goes on from there.
Yeah, because Yes and Kellyanne partner up, and that's when he called her bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and then
no, that's it's fine.
No,
this is all semantics.
I'm going in order.
I am too.
And then Alton was saying he was struggling with Jimmy slowing down and being pulled back. They weren't partnered in the bikes, and then Ruthie and Darrell were not partnered in the bikes.
Yeah, I know that came after all this.
And then checkpoint 4 is food, which is starting off with Carolina Reapers.
Again, I'm not.
Well, you're the one that just said you weren't really paying attention.
That is not what I said at all. I said I didn't have the notes to know exactly what came next because I was too vague in it.
I go exactly in order of the show.
Do you think Jake and I write stuff out of order and just put it wherever we feel like?
I think you do sometimes.
Yeah.
You skip like 3 lines and then you go you hit return on your phone and then you go back and
the teams after the other thing are Yes, Kellyanne, John A and Mark, Darrell and Ruthie, Jimmy and Alton, and then Easy and Anissa, and then that's where the sprint comes in. I do think you're right. It is the Peppers,
because everybody started yakking on the sprint.
No, actually, the Peppers are later. There was a race and then the Peppers, and then that didn't change what you were saying.
I said that there was a little bit of a foot race before the Peppers.
I got it. It's not. It's so not important, and we have so much more to get through.
I know. I'm just saying, like you said, I was wrong, and then you said, oh, there actually was a little bit. So I was right. Let me have this.
The sprint. Yes, had the walking sticks, which he comes in very handy later in the end part of the finale. Again, Yes is just an outdoors guy. Like
he was made for this.
I don't know where he lives, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's in like Seattle or Colorado or like somewhere where he's just outdoors doing stuff all the time. Because like he again, like this is all like a walk in the park for him.
I was surprised that they made everybody eat 2 of these peppers each.
Well, they did that in the elimination with Nehemiah and Tech.
Yeah,
too.
I know.
Well,
I was surprised that they made them do 2 because usually even like you can't even touch it, can you?
you're not supposed to like touch your eyes and stuff after. Like that's the thing. You don't want to get it on your hands because if you touch your eyes or your nose or your genitals or anything like that, that's happened on Hot Ones before.
Oh yeah. It really surprised me that they did 2 because one I think is enough. But 2 is just overkill. But apparently Carolina Reapers don't bother Big Easy because he really like popped those suckers like Tic Tacs. And then they got to the puzzle and he just like breezed through it, which incidentally enough, it was like the same puzzle that he won on that daily a couple days before.
They changed partners between them. At checkpoint 4 before the Carolina Reapers, they went Anissa, Kellyanne, Darrell, Ruthie Alton, Jimmy Mark, and then Easy and John A. And then they ate and had that puzzle. And yeah, it is the same puzzle that Easy beat or won, like the only one to finish in the escape room thing over the water. And then we basically get a cliffhanger with Darrell asking for a medic from those Carolina Reapers and for the running part. I mean, it's interesting that, you know, I don't think anyone wants to eat like super hot peppers like this and then run, especially after you've done all this other stuff. But like, I don't know, like this seems miserable to me. This whole part of it, and then going to the next episode, which is just eating from there. Because we pick up in episode 2 of the finale, and it's Darrell asking for a medic, and Kellyanne's just like, "Nah, you don't need one. We got it."
And that was it. That was the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And I mean, he just vomited and got back up.
And then she just kind of like pulls him along, and then we get a nice slow-mo zoom in on their names on their butt for Anissa and Yes. And it was like real slow-mo, real cinematic. And I was like, that's certainly a choice.
Yeah. Easy, partner with John A, keeps telling her to slow down on the hike. She's trekking along.
Yeah, I mean, she's at this point the top female, like, points wise,
and she's in 3rd place out of everybody.
Yeah, and I mean, she's still definitely in this, which, I mean, I don't think any of us ever expected that.
I think to myself, man, if I would have picked John A with my last pick instead of Arissa, my squad would be insane.
I feel ultimately okay with my picks because I have Alton, Darrell, and Kellyanne, and looking at where they finished, like they all finished well in the final. They Yes was the one that won, obviously, but they all did well in the final. But yeah, I mean, none of us knew, and I think we all just with our last pick went with people that we didn't really know, and because we like, we've seen John A, and she's never really done much. And she proved us wrong.
I mean, she was solid throughout this final.
Yeah, no, 100%. They were playing "I'll Never Let You Go" by Third Eye Blind.
Love Third Eye Blind.
And then we get to checkpoint 5, and this is where we find out Darrell and Yes are tied, and then John A is right behind them. And so then the teams go Alton and John A, Yes and Ruthie, Big Easy and Jimmy, Mark and Kellyanne, and then Darrell and Anissa. And TJ tells them, "Hey, these are your partners for the night."
Yeah.
And
this is the final partner pairing as well.
Yeah. It's whoever you haven't been partnered up with so far. And
it's food again.
Yeah, but this is like old school, like the
like an actual food challenge.
The spicy thing was just like to screw with you, and actually probably caused a lot more trouble than what maybe production expected, but
just enough to make you want to die.
Yeah, this one, like, this is the opposite of what Henry wants, but it's everything that we want. Yeah,
because like at first glance, when they the shot of the food on the grill or hot plate or whatever, I guess I didn't get a really good look at it, but at first glance, it just looks like grilled barbecue chicken.
Yeah, it didn't look bad.
No, I was like, that didn't look so bad. but then they zoom in and I was like, oh, that's weird stuff.
Yeah, it's like intestines and then like some sort of like blood sausage or something.
Yeah, but
like
you
that.
grill it right, man. Put some seasoning on it.
Yeah, it's no issue.
I think didn't Anissa or somebody say like you could have at least seasoned it, like they're but like I don't know. Yes is just like screw it, going in for it. Alton is basically acting like it's the most exquisite meal he's ever had.
He's like fine dining like a fancy man.
And it's like the grill marks are very good on this. And
if you don't clean your plate, you're done.
Yeah, you're out. We did find out Ruthie's Filipino in this.
She's a Filipinoy.
And
she's only unfamiliar with one thing on the plate here.
Did she say that?
She did.
I didn't hear that.
Which is very Filipino. Because, like, once they actually showed the stuff, I was like, oh, this looks like stuff like you'd find in the Philippines.
Yeah, it's not anything I'd want to eat. Again, it's Equalizer, though. We already said it. Like, Henry, get it together, man.
Yeah. Get real with it, Henry.
Get some help.
Yeah, Michael Jordan gif.
I liked the approach that Darrell and Anissa had. Make it fun, dance around, anything to distract yourself from thinking about what you're eating, and you'll be able to put it away.
Except they came in like next to last. And I guess it worked, but honestly, if Darrell would have done better in this eating part,
he would have won.
I don't know if he would have won. He would have been real close because it was only a 2-point difference.
Yeah.
And Yes finished first and Darrell finished fourth. If he would have finished third or second, he would have won.
Yep.
And so Yes finishes first. You know what? I'm off on that because even though Yes finished first, he didn't get the first place points because Ruthie didn't finish until later on.
That's right. Because Yes actually got the third place, and then Darrell and Anissa got the fourth place, so he was only up 1 point.
Yeah, that's what it was. And so even though Yes did finish first, Kellyanne and Mark were the team that actually finished first. And then
Mark thought it was hilarious that Kellyanne was crying and vomiting the way that she was.
Man, that one time
he thought it was really funny.
There's so much liquid that just came back with it.
It came out her nose.
Yeah, I mean you can't really control it. It just goes where it wants to go. It flows out the hose.
I don't like throwing up, man.
I hate it so much. I hate it more than anything else.
I try not to.
I would rather throw up than just feel nauseated.
I would rather feel nauseated.
I hate.
I hate the feeling of being nauseated because it'll ruin your whole day.
I would rather diarrhea than throw up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think anybody would. But like,
there's some freak out there who really loves throwing up.
Being nauseated versus throwing up. If I feel nauseated, I want to throw up, so it's gone.
Do you think
I don't feel like that? I want to get it over with.
Do you think that's like a fetish for someone?
100%.
Throw up on me, baby.
Zach tells me all the time.
Throw up on me, Anna.
No, he tells me all the time. He's like, if you can think of it, it's got to be somebody's fetish.
Yeah, if it exists, somebody has fetishized it to some degree. Like there's some weirdo who's really loves like crushing water bottles and they're like, oh yeah, and it's there's for sure people that love like throwing up and stuff. Like
especially for how disgusting it is.
That's probably part of the appeal is that because it's so weird. I guess.
You know, like there are people that really like golden showers.
Yeah, I would rather have that than be thrown up on.
Han, do you know what a golden shower is?
No.
Are you serious?
Well, now I don't want to get into allegedly our former president had it happen to him. It's where you get peed on.
But it's sexualized though. Yeah, it's like you just kind of like let it happen. It's just pee on me, baby.
I think I would rather be peed on than be thrown up on.
Yeah, I would too. Though some people's urine smells like it's awful.
Asparagus.
Yeah. I mean, there's people I've walked in after they just went to pee. Right? I went in the bathroom maybe 10 minutes later, and there's a lingering urine smell.
Yeah.
And I hope and pray I don't have that. I don't think I do, but you get used to like your own.
If you did, you'd smell it.
Well, but you get used to your own like.
Yeah, you do.
You get used to like the smell of your home, right?
Yeah. Nose blindness,
but like someone else can walk in your home and be like, "What's that smell?" And it's like, "I don't smell anything." Like,
and it's also like if if you start noticing like, oh, I kind of smell bad, that means that people around you noticed it before you, because you're just used to it, because you're just yourself. And but yeah, I hate throwing up more than probably anything. I don't understand how anyone could enjoy that process or enjoy other people, like Jake brought up. I would for sure rather get peed on than be thrown up on.
Yes.
Because it's just
give me a golden shower any day of the week.
Ew.
Let's just take that out of context and put that somewhere.
Shower me up. Give me a golden shower any day of the week.
Yeah, I agree. I'm right there with you. So
paint me gold, baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like there's a lot of people that have already finished eating or are close to finishing, and Jimmy at this point has not even started.
Actually, no, they talked about quitting before anyone finished, because they were saying, she was like, oh, I've hurt so much, and he's like, do you want to quit? That was before Yes even finished.
Oh,
yeah, and then they circled back around.
So they were close to finishing then.
Yeah, and so then Yes,
she hadn't even started. Yeah. And then Big Easy, he said that he understands if she wants to quit. He was like, I get it. And then she's like, no, I don't know. I just don't think I can eat. I don't think I can eat anything else. And he said, quote, if you want to call it, call it. And he said that he realizes he's close to last place anyway. Mm-hmm. So even if he wins this, which they know that they're not winning it, there's only like not much left in the race, so he knows he doesn't have a great chance of winning because it's point based.
Well, and he was just like, I don't want to eat half of this, and then you say you can't eat anything, and then we've been here for 3 hours, and I'm torturing myself.
And I understand that if he knows and she knows that she's going to quit and not do this, don't put yourself through the rest of it. But she was trying to say, he was trying to peg it on her, saying like he actually wanted to quit but didn't want to be the one to quit, and so he was almost encouraging her to quit so that the blame will go on her.
I think it takes away from his like whole, he made this whole speech at the end after they finished and made this long post on social media about how like proving people wrong, he, all this stuff. It's just like, I mean, you kind of wanted to quit. Like,
yeah, they both wanted to quit. They just didn't want to be the one that called it because they knew that the stigma of, oh, they quit.
They quit a final.
Yeah, you could just blame it on the other person.
Yeah.
And so,
well, that'd have been really bad for him because not only did he gas out in the final, now he would have quit a final.
Yeah.
So,
which mathematically, like he's right. Like he doesn't have a chance at this point.
Yeah.
And she doesn't really either. But they go through it. Darrell.
He actually told Big Easy actually told Jimmy at one point. He's like, if you're going to do it, you need to go ahead and do it because it's going to get cold and it's going to get hard and it's going to be worse.
Yeah, that is true. Like the longer you sit, that food's going to get
more disgusting,
more like congealed and like hardened up, and just like it's.
If you eat it while it's still hot, you can just pretend that it's just bland softer. Chicken.
Yeah.
And then it actually ends up taking Darrell and Anissa 2 hours to finish.
Yeah, and then Big Easy and them were longer than that.
It was 3 hours for them.
They did have wild horses show up in the background, which shout out to Patagonia for all the nature.
And the clothes.
The clothes?
Yeah, Patagonia.
I wear Patagonia. I like Patagonia a lot. It's expensive, but I do like it a lot.
But they do a lot of like recycled materials and stuff.
Yeah, I got hats that are made out of recycled fishing nets.
Yeah, we like hats.
Real proud of those.
Yeah. So yeah, Big Easy and Jimmy finally finish, and all the other people are just hanging around that fire and talking about how miserable it is and how this is like their reward is just getting to not do anything and sit there. And then the bed situation is like almost like a counterbalanced like seesaw, and the only way the bed lays flat is if someone is standing on the far end, which is just mean, but it is good for a final like this.
Just torture you even more.
Yeah,
push you over the edge.
And so the only way one person can sleep is if the other one is standing perfectly still on the other end. But it's not even that like you get to decide who does what. They said if anyone falls off or gets off at any point, you have to change. So even if you fall off on accident,
you got to wake up the other person, and then
change
they've got
positions. Yeah. And which we didn't really see come into play from like they didn't show that, but Big Easy slept pretty good. It seemed
he was snoring, which he said he's never really had a problem with falling asleep anywhere he's at, which I can identify with.
I wish I had that.
I can relate.
If I sit still too long, I'm out like a clock.
I can fall asleep in this chair just like this.
Out like a light.
Out like a light. Out like a clock. You know how clocks go out.
Is that what you said? Out like a clock?
She's like,
I'm so tired today.
She's like, if I can just lay down anywhere, I'm out like a clock.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm just tired today.
Dead clock's right twice a day.
Yeah,
that's right. Hey, if a clock has batteries,
it's dead.
John A said that she's gotten every right partner at every right time, and boy, if she's right about that.
Okay.
I mean, seriously, think about it. She has surpassed every expectation of her.
Well, and while she's sleeping, Alton is basically telling everybody, he's like, I'm so far behind. He's like, I'm just doing this for her because she's so close.
He literally tucked her into bed.
Yeah.
Well, so she made the statement, right, that she got the right partner at the right time. I don't know, man. I think she's selling herself short. I think she killed this final.
She's done really well.
She has done well, but as we can see, who you're partnered with can hold you back or help push you forward.
So, like, look, it's no denying it. Like, whoever was partnered with Big Easy and whatever leg was going to finish last. It's just kind of how it was, right? You would think out of the girls remaining, we've got Ruthie, Kellyanne.
I'd put John A at the bottom, just
at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
But like none of these guys finished at the bottom when she was on their team, and I think that's a credit to her too.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, whoever she's partnered with, she and her partner.
I don't know where it came from.
A couple of these checkpoints.
I don't know where it came from. I mean, she never came close to performing like this ever.
No,
I don't know where this came from.
It's that mom strength.
It's got to be. There's like internal motivation now.
It's the mom strength.
It's
she does seem like, even up here, like mentally, she seems like well. And like really
she always seemed kind of fragmented and like people's opinions really bothered her back in the day.
Well, she even said in like a little confessional that, back in her previous seasons of the challenge, she couldn't really like be herself very much. But now that she's a mom and she's married and she's good in life, she's very comfortable in her own skin. And that really shows. Like she is confident in who she is, and she's not letting anybody change that.
Well, speaking of changing, you got TJ come out here dressed like a Three Musketeer and on a horse.
I said he looks like he's on a lunch break from filming A Knight's Tale.
It's a good movie, by the way. Rest in peace, Heath Ledger. But yeah, he. I'm not 100% sure why he had that outfit on. They never explain it.
It would have been more appropriate if he were wearing a cowboy hat.
Well, Mark said it's like looks like he's straight out of a Western, and I was like, that does not look like a Western.
No, it looks like a Renaissance fair.
Yeah,
looks like Dances with Wolves.
I didn't watch that.
What's his name?
Native Americans.
Yeah, but it had this. What was that guy's name? Never been a fan of this actor, Kevin Costner. Yeah.
What a weird stance.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Kevin Costner.
Not a real fan of Kevin's. I like Kevin Bacon.
What about Kevin McAllister?
Yeah, he was solid.
Yeah.
What about Kevin from The Office? Kevin Malone.
A little bit of a try hard.
Okay. Why say few word? Why say lot word when few word do trick?
Yeah.
So
TJ basically just rolls up on horse, says, "Hey,
first of all, he can't get a hold of his horse. It's like walking him in circles while he's trying to talk.
He know what he's doing. They're like, you ever ridden horse before? He's like, of course I have. And he tells everyone the final day is just a race, and it's everyone for themselves.
No more partners.
Which is what everyone for themselves means.
I know, I'm just adding some flair.
It's double the points. So if you're someone that's like third or fourth place, you still have a good chance depending on...
You can change everything.
Yeah, depending on what happens. Now, it just so happened that the two people in first and second place are also really good at this part of the challenge as well. And Darrell just takes off running. And I don't know if you saw Jake, but whenever everyone starts running, Alton is just like barely moving, hanging back.
Yeah, he's just walking.
Makes you feel like he was checked out at this point.
I think he just knew, like, I don't have a chance, even if he got the 10 points or whatever. Like, but he did end up finishing fourth overall.
Yeah.
So all right, therein lies my problem with this leg of the final.
Okay.
Because the whole time I'm hoping that this money's going to be split to a male and a female.
I knew it was a split.
Because at the end of the day, $250,000 is still a lot of money, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. And I just, once I figured out that, like, no, man, this is first place takes it all. Like, this is it. Like, I knew none of these girls have a chance. It doesn't matter how close Kellyanne is. It doesn't matter how close Johnny is. And it bared out because the first four people to finish were all males. And that's not a shot at women, but it is a scientific fact that
there
physical
are three
level
types of women.
That is one, but like men typically perform at a higher physical level than women
do.
Like that's just a fact. And so
that's just biology.
Yeah. And so to say, you know, all right, girls, you got to beat these guys who are in top physical condition. There's no chance. There's no chance these women were winning that at all. And so you removed any ability for any of these girls to have a shot. So like, I'll just use, I think it was a Vendettas, right? Vendettas where Cara won it. Cara won the whole thing.
You have to remind me what the final was.
They were going back and forth doing the puzzle and memorizing it and coming back because Zach almost won.
Oh yeah, okay, but there was like three stages that.
Yeah, right. But if you're gonna say this is the most important leg, then you have to do something that equalizes things like a puzzle. Now, I didn't like that final. I actually hated that that's how it ended.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
But it evened the playing field nonetheless, right? Mm-hmm. It just did. And so when you're saying, hey, run up a mountain, it's no surprise to me that 4 guys finished first.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
Come on. John A. had a kid 7 months ago.
No,
she's not beating any of these guys, and she was close, right? Like, she was.
She beat Big Easy.
Yeah,
well, okay. But I understand the point that you're making. Looking at Kellyanne and John A, and then looking at the 4 guys that finished before them. I mean, they're cut, they're ripped, they've been working out, they've been working on their endurance. I mean, they were built for this final. Whereas John A's coming off of a birth.
So I actually, Kellyanne, I don't know if you saw Kellyanne's tweets on all this.
I did, but I tried to like stay away from it because I hadn't watched the episode yet, even though I knew who won because some other people.
And I agree with her. She says, let's keep it 100. If there was only going to be one winner with no equalizers, then we shouldn't have had separate days for guy and girl eliminations. Like, who cares if Kendall, she added Kendall, who cares if Kendall was a threat to the women if the guys could still beat her up a mountain?
Well, here's the thing. That's the part that I was saying at the top of the show that I don't agree with as far as having a problem with, because that's just like, it's just format. Like it's just to keep it so the guys know, like, oh, you need to be safe and you can have the power for the lifesaver this day and the girls can have it this day, which they obviously got rid of the lifesaver. But I don't have a problem with alternating guys and girls eliminations, especially at the beginning, because at the end it kind of flipped and you had a guy and girl in every time. And so that to me is just a formatting thing. It's just like, oh, we need to send people home instead of just the lowest people that, you know, perform the worst. This way you at least guarantee that it's going to change things up every other daily.
And I again, the whole season was perfect up until this. I think this is a real issue. I just think, like, if you're going to have one winner, you have to find a way.
So
to equalize it. You just do.
Yes.
I think here's what I would say. I think you don't make. I think the only misstep in this is you don't make the last part worth extra points. You just keep it the same amount, and then you tally it up.
Even then, none of the girls were beating these guys. None of them.
I mean, I can't help that. But it's like when you make double the points, it's basically whoever's going to finish, and the top 2 is going to probably take the win overall. But it's. I mean, what do you want to do? Have a partner for the last part, and then you got to wait on that partner to finish.
You could run this final the same exact way, except have a girl winner and a guy winner. So there's a girl leaderboard and there's a guy leaderboard, right?
Yeah, I would have liked that.
Like that to me would have put this over the top. If you split that 500,000, because again, you can't tell me that like. That's going to lessen someone like John A's desire to win it. It's $250,000, no, man. Some people don't make that in 10 years.
Yeah, and especially John A, because she said that because of COVID, her husband was furloughed from his job, and then she had a baby, and so they ran through all of the money they had in savings just to make ends meet and feed their kids.
Well, let's also remember that if it's like any other season, they do get appearance fees. Like they're getting paid to be on the show.
Yeah, but it's an offshoot of the original show, and it's people that we haven't seen in years and years and years. And also it's the first season of this branch, and they didn't know how well it was going to do. So they're not going to be paying them as much as they pay the people on
you don't know that
the main challenge.
You don't know that. I mean, we don't know the contract stuff. The thing is, I think for this first season, having it a one person wins all $500,000 prize is a good, alluring thing to any potential people coming on.
That's fine, like, but
you know what I'm saying?
That no, and I'm fine with that. But you have to find a way to even the playing field.
I think you don't make the last part double points, I don't know. It's every time there's a one person winner, some people love it, some people hate it. It's just it is what it is. And I
think it would have been really cool to see John A up there with Yes as the girl winner. Well, I think that would have been really cool.
Her and Kellyanne tied.
All right, well then you find some way.
That's the other thing.
Like a tiebreaker.
They'd have to arguably split the money. And I think Kellyanne said that she thought if they did it that way that they would just split the money. But I mean, yeah, I agree. I don't want to take anything away from John A. Like she killed this final and no one expected it.
No.
I think for it being the first season, having a one winner thing is not bad because that telling people you have a chance at $500,000 versus you have a chance at a split of $500,000 is a lot more appealing. It's a bigger risk reward thing. But I do know that this season has come off extremely well. It has probably outperformed everything that they've expected, I'm hoping. And we do know that there's already like call outs for the next season. And they've also had like 100 past challengers reach out about being on the next one. I mean, there's rumors like Jamie Chung might be back on like some of these.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
Like you got some big. I mean, like the Miz isn't going to come back. Which one? He's got a torn ACL right now, anyway. But like I don't know. I think yeah, we can always nitpick stuff, but I mean, if you take a step back and just look at the season as a whole, like it's a home run. Like it was such a good season from start to finish, and like even with the first daily being as like, oh no, like they can't do it.
Yeah.
It's still like the pacing was great. The had decent amount of drama. It had like decent eliminations. It was funny. It was fun to watch. I think we all towards the end of Double Agents were looking more forward to All Stars than Double Agents, and I think that they really nailed. Because they're not going to get everything right in the first season back like this.
There's still some kinks to work out.
Yeah, but I think it is an extremely good season. I don't know where it fits again in the canon of the show, but I mean this final is a legit final.
out of 100%, I'd probably give it a 93.
It's a solid A season. It may not be an A+, but
I give it a good A- because 92 would be a B.
Well, I don't think it's a.
Give it a 93.
I don't think my point was a nitpicky one. I do think it's a real issue. And if it proves anything, it's that I'm here for all three types of women.
Mm-hmm.
No, which, by the way, I agreed with that point.
I hope anyone listening to this understands that this is a joke from
a couple weeks ago. My last couple points about this final were Kellyanne had a really good point after the end. She mentioned something along the lines of these 30, 40 something year olds are able to do these challenges that are similar to what's going on the main challenge. They're pretty intense. It's not as as long of a time being gone, but she's like, we can hang and we can do it with a smile on our faces, which was a good point, because that's part of what made this season so fun to watch, is because in the midst of how difficult these dailies were and in the midst of the drama that comes along with it, everybody was still having fun and they were still enjoying themselves while they were there. And I feel like the last couple of seasons of the main challenge, everybody's been so serious and so almost like gloomy and dreary that it's not as fun to watch. It
forgot boring
in a way. It almost feels like taxing and draining to watch the main challenge without the fun people to lighten the mood, like Devin and Kyle.
So, yeah, it's. I mean, again, clearly we're all a fan of this. I don't know how you flip the current show. I think you can't just go from one extreme to another. I think you got to slowly kind of work it back. I wonder if anyone on this show is interested in being on the main show, because yes, he's like, when he won, he's like,
how cool would that be if you said winner of All Stars goes to the main show?
I mean, yeah, but the problem is, like, that's such a longer production schedule,
and he may not be able to get off work like that.
I mean, if he's an architect, I don't know. He may can kind of set it. I don't know.
I don't know. It just kind of depends. But I would say first, second, third place get first callbacks for the main challenge. So if they can be away from family, if they can get off of work for that extended period of time, that they are given the opportunity to come to the main house.
The only thing with that is, I will say, even though yes, they perform well, whatever, the new seasons have a level of physicality to some stuff that we didn't see on this season. Like, other than the Laterian and Ace elimination, you didn't have the hard hitting, oh, this could be bad. And
Kyle broke a finger. Somebody, Nelson, could have gotten a concussion from Fessy.
So what I'm saying is, again, John A technically came in third. As great as John A did in this, being on Double Agents is a different animal, and it's because the show has changed, and I don't know if it's necessarily for the good or the bad, but it's just different, and I don't know. We'll see. I don't think they're going to have a crossover, honestly, between them. I think if you're on All Stars, that's kind of your lane. And if you're on the main show, you're on the main show until you come to All Stars, if you get that chance. I feel honestly, All Stars is it's the prize. You get to not have to compete against 20-year-olds who are all jacked up and, wanting to fight everybody. Because other than Hasela being real mad at everyone, no one was going to fight this season. Other than Arissa, I guess.
Yeah, Arissa wanted to.
But you didn't have to worry about security breaking stuff up with these people. And it's a better schedule. It's good money. It's still a hard, I don't think any of us are taking anything away from anybody that competed in this final. The fact that all 10 people finished is really crazy.
Mm.
And
that was another thing, Big Easy was saying, because he and Anissa decided to finish the final together, even though it was an individual foot race. It was nice because they were there to encourage each other to finish all the way.
Yeah.
Big Easy said, the goal was to finish this final. Ideally, it would be first place, but the goal was to finish. And Anissa said, even though she didn't win, finishing this final, she considered a win for her.
Yeah, I think everyone that finished should be proud. I did like at the end that all of a sudden started crap talking Darrell and kind of came out of his shell a little bit. But I don't know. It's a good season. Again, you take one step back, and I would say this is a great season. Watch it. It's if for some reason you're listening to this and you haven't watched it, it's weird, but go back and watch it. So
you calling somebody out?
No, he's not listening to these. It'd be real weird if Ryan is listening to these and he hasn't watched the season yet.
Superlatives.
Yeah, let's get into our superlatives for these last 2 episodes. Basically, just the final.
Okay, because I had superlatives after both episodes.
One, just pick it, narrow it down to one.
Okay, because I had the same person who smashed heads, but I had different people for head smashed.
Narrow it down to one. Jake held up one finger.
Does that mean you want to go first?
No.
You said you got him right there.
Okay. Well, smashed heads, John freaking A.
That sounds like a wrestler or something.
Yeah.
John A.
John A. Killed it. Killed it.
I mean, she did
both episodes.
She did really well. I mean, again, on paper, no one expected her to be the top girl or tied for the top. So she did really well. I'm gonna go with yes, just because you took John A. But I mean, yes won. He hasn't been on this show in 20 years. I wasn't sure what to make of him. He said he was an out of shape dad, but I mean, he just is an outdoors guy. He's just hiking and doing stuff all the time.
When he crossed the finish line, he looked like he could have gone another few miles.
I did like that he threw off his walking sticks, he got healed off of crutches and then just took off running for the last part.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yes won, and I mean, he hadn't been on since 2000, 2001, something like that.
It was the Challenge 2000, which
that was
he won.
First one. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna give it to Kellyanne because she made a good point. That was a problem. Basically being asked.
You're giving her that for something she said after the finale.
I'm sure she felt it during it. I'm giving it to Kellyanne. You don't get to pick who I give.
I didn't give it to pick. I didn't say I got to pick. So who got their head smashed?
Well, originally I had Derek.
You get one. Jake held up one finger.
I don't think he really got his head smashed.
He's still holding up one finger.
But in a way he did. Darrell for his first final lost. Every other final he's been to, he's won.
He did come in second.
This is the first final he's been to and not won.
Well, it's also his first final in 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
But he came in second.
Yeah. Which I think that's a great showing for Darrell.
I do too. And that's the thing. I don't think he's a loser.
Oh, I'm going to tell him you said that.
I think he still performed exceptionally well. It's just, it sucks that he no longer has the perfect final record. Where that's been the running joke. If Darrell gets to the final, he's going to
win. For me, I'm going to give it to Jimmy.
I almost had her down.
She was so hung up that she got caught with Big Easy for the last thing, and it's
she was the one that held him back.
Well, I mean, not even that, but it's just you weren't going to win regardless. It's just she wasn't. I don't have the score in front of me, but it wasn't Big Easy that made you slow down on the eating and then finish whatever it was 8th on. Yeah, she finished 8th on the thing, which is 3rd from the last. So I don't know. She seemed a little more entitled than some of the other people in the final to some degree, but it is what it is. Jake, what's yours?
I'm gonna give it to Mark Long for being the Godfather. I was kind of unimpressed with his performance.
He couldn't win, Jake.
He came in third in the daily. I mean, final thing. I don't know what his overall thing was.
Yeah, but there's no way he can't win this.
Well, but I at no point watched it and thought he's kind of checked out. Alton, on the other hand, yes.
I did think Alton kind of
I did
like,
too.
I can't win. Let's just, finish this. No,
Speaking of which, I think he looks exceptionally well to be 41. Alton?
Yeah.
He looks like he's in his early to mid 30s.
Mark Long's 49. Yes, is 41. Darrell's 40, I think. Yeah, again, like they all did well. One thing we didn't talk about, and I didn't know because again, I didn't watch Yes back in the day. His mom was an immigrant that came to America with like $300 or something like that, and that was it.
Yeah,
and
that's what he said.
Like, so he was like, this is a big deal. I like it. I like Yes a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
Like he's
a great guy.
He seems like a really solid guy.
And he's a good competitor too.
Yeah, and he's smart, and so I'd like to see him back. If they run these back, if not next season, then maybe the next one, because I think they'll do at least 3 of these. So, Jake, are you ready for?
Man, we got a lot of points to run through here.
I know, because we combined 2 episodes.
Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Now, look, a lot of these points have forgotten the context at this point.
We'll try to help you remember,
especially from the first episode.
Yeah.
So we'll just start right off here. Hasela paid the piper. I'm assuming that means.
She said that several times.
Yeah. So we're gonna give her 5 points for paying the piper.
Okay.
According to Big Easy, it's been an effing ride. 5 points to Big Easy. A quick little reminder that Darrell has never lost a final. We'll give him 10 points for that. According to Mark, he can still compete like he's 25. 5 points. We get a Hasela and Anissa heart-to-heart. We'll give them 10 points each there. Anissa just wants to make things right. 5 points.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Kellyanne wants to start a nonprofit for animals. 15 points to Kellyanne. Because we love animals.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. John A was in labor for 20 hours, so a 2-day final is fine. 10 points.
And she was right.
Yeah.
Alton's the first one to get his puzzle completed. It's 15 points.
Hold on a second. Why can't I find him? There he is.
Darrell can't believe it. -5. Anissa's the first girl to complete her puzzle. 15 points to her. Has Alton ever been on a boat? -5.
I would assume so, but you never know.
Big Easy struggling with his puzzle. That's a -5. Let's see. Alton throughout the episode was very polite. Just yes, ma'ams everywhere. We're going to give him 10 points for his politeness.
We love a good gentleman.
Yeah. Gentleman recognize gentleman over here. Derek just wants his kid to go outside and play. I don't remember the reference there, but we're going to give him 5 points.
I think it was he could win money to buy a place.
That's right.
So that he's got like a yard or something.
According to Mark, pain is temporary. $500,000 is permanent.
I thought you were saying pain is temporary. 500,000 points.
Yeah, no, I don't think that logic really works, because I don't think $500,000 is permanent either. So I'm going to give Mark -5 for that.
Yeah.
-15 to Anissa and Alton for flipping. John A is excited that they're drowning. 5 points. Derek at one point did a leap over Hasela in the canoe.
He leapfrogged her.
Yeah, 10 points. That was a neat little trick. 15 points to Darrell and John A. They finished their canoeing first. We got Derek and Hasela flipping and flopping. That's a -5 to each of them. Let's see. Alton's bummed because Derek and Hasela got eliminated. That's -5. His stomach is also welling up. That's another -5.
What does that mean?
They was about to cry.
In your stomach?
No, you get that feeling in your stomach, right?
Yeah, I guess I just...
No,
Okay.
when you're about to cry, your eyes well up.
Well,
As in water well.
according to Jake, is his stomach.
Well, that's what Alton said. We're giving -50 to Derek and Hasela for being eliminated on the first leg.
I got you.
Let's see. John A with the solid nickname, John A all day. That's a 5-pointer.
That's cute.
Yes and John A get their bike build first. 15 points to them. Jimmy doesn't ride bikes with gears. -5. Let's see. Oops. Ruthie's tire broke. -5. Let's see.
Score.
Jimmy rides bikes like she's 5. -10.
Okay.
Alton's the dream partner. 5 points. We got a skateboarding bike for Mark. 5 points. At one point, Yes just said, John A is a mom. I'm going to give him 10 points for that revelation. So, Alton's still being super polite. That's another 10 points. Yes and John A win the second checkpoint. 15 points. Anissa tells herself she is not I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on the pod, but she's not a kitty cat.
Okay, I got you.
That is 10 points. According to Ruthie,
this is a children's podcast.
According to Ruthie, Darrell's making this fun. We're gonna give 10 points to Darrell for making this fun.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Again, Darrell just has so much more personality than he did on Double Agents.
It's like he's a totally different person. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yes, and Kellyanne finished the next checkpoint first. That's 15 points. We've got Anissa and Big Easy Love. 10 points to each of them. Carolina Reapers don't bother Big Easy. They're just like Tic Tacs. 5 points. Jimmy was fine until it hit her stomach. -10. Because there's nothing worse than stomach pains climbing up a mountain.
Yeah.
Darrell would rather eat maggots on a cracker. 5 points.
I forgot he said that.
Now Darrell's stomach's hurting and his insides are turning. That's -10. Let's see. At one point, Ruthie said her rib cage has been stabbed. That can't be good. -10.
Okay. She's only got -15 so far.
Yeah. The worst cramps of Jimmy's life. That's -15.
She said worse than period.
Yeah. Darrell is dying and he's ready to quit. -15. And we ended that episode with him needing a medic. -10.
So you're saying someone needing a medic is negative points?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would have done -5.
So here we go. We're moving on into episode 2. Darrell is still dying at the top of episode 2. -5.
It's the same clip. It's the same exact
Well, you know what?
clip.
For us, it's an episode later, and he still needs a medic.
It's been a whole week.
It's even the same sound bite.
It's been a whole week.
Yeah, it's been a whole week. Like, get up, man.
The man
Get
is still
up.
in pain.
He's been kneeling for a week right there.
He's had 7 days to get over this.
Kellyanne made a reference to period cramps. That's 5 points.
Oh, that's where that came from. Okay. I thought Jimmy was the one who said it.
At one point, Darrell said he needs his mama. Don't we all? 10 points. We get an Anissa booty close up. That's 5 points.
And yes.
And yes, that's another 5. Yes knows what poverty looks like. I would hope that none of us ever know what poverty looks like. -5. We all wish riches upon everyone.
Okay.
Big Easy needs
for being poor.
Yeah. Big Easy needs John A to slow down. -5 to Big Easy. John A's husband lost his job, -5. We don't wish that on anybody.
You're going after the people that are already down.
Well, we don't want that. Right, but it's
You're kicking them while they're down.
Yeah. Alton ain't quitting on nobody. 10 points.
You're going to penalize Yes for having an immigrant mom later.
Yeah, I'm waiting on it.
Darrell and Kellyanne complete the next leg first, 15 points each. Jimmy's never had a cramp like this in her life, -10.
By the way, she's only got negative so far.
Yeah.
She's already really at -50.
Mark needs a 5-pointer, -5, because he hadn't got one yet.
Yeah.
Jimmy never wanted Big Easy. -5 to both of them. Let's see. We get to the eating challenge. Darrell and Anissa are just dancing and eating. 10 points. Kellyanne is throwing up aggressively. -10. Hey, Ruthie's a Filipino like Han. 15 points.
Yeah, 15.
Just at 0 now.
This is just a delicacy for Alton at this point. 5 points. TJ gives Easy the look because he knows he's thinking about quitting. -15 to Big Easy. 15 points to Jimmy because she fought through the temptation to quit. Let's see. We're going to give 15 points to Mark and Kellyanne. They're the first team to finish the eating challenge.
Yeah.
Jimmy has cried more in the last 20 minutes than she has in months. -10. This is the longest meal of Jimmy's life. Another -10. But they finished, so we're going to give 5 points to Big Easy and Jimmy. Yes is totally fine with these sleeping conditions. 5 points.
Yeah, he also, I think, said he could sleep standing up at one point, like a vampire.
Yes feels warm inside. 5 points.
Don't we all?
Alton is done with everybody. 10 points. Because sometimes
I thought he had reached his breaking point.
Sometimes I'm done with everybody.
Oh, I get that.
Let's see. John A is Alton's little sister. 5 points to John A. According to Kellyanne, no one is more miserable than her. -10. We get a segment where Ruthie talks about loving her little sister. 5 points.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Let's see. Yes makes walking sticks. 5 points. Alton has his shirt off.
I think he made them. I think he picked them up.
Now, he was breaking them apart at one point.
Alton's shirt off is how many?
10 points because we all like to see that. Anissa and Big Easy are going to do this thing together. 10 points. We get a Yes stripping montage. 10 points.
And then he just leaves his clothes in the woods.
Yeah, I thought he was going to put them in his backpack.
Yeah.
Yes takes a heel turn, starts talking crap. 5 points.
I liked it.
Let's see. We're going to give 15 points to Yes for being the first one to finish this. He's proud. 5 points.
He's got an immigrant mom, -5.
No, there's actually no fantasy points involved there.
Oh, really?
But I am going to give him 10 points for wanting to take on what he called all the punks from the other shows.
Yeah.
Mark dedicates this to his mom. 10 points.
You going to give him negative points because his mom has cancer?
Oh, Hannah, I didn't even go there.
God.
You've been giving people negative points for losing their jobs and being poor.
Yeah, that's a little different from health issues.
He did give Darrell a bunch of negative points for needing a medic.
Anyway, 15 points to Kellyanne for being the first girl to complete this. John A just wants to tell her kids you can do anything. 10 points. Jimmy said this is how the game should be played, and I agree. 5 points. And here we go. We're going to give 50 points to John A and Kellyanne for tying for third.
Okay, hold on. All right.
We're going to give 125 to Darrell for finishing second.
Interesting. Figured you'd go 100 there.
I thought it would be 75.
And then we're going to go 300 to Yes for getting first. Overall winner. There has to be a big bump there.
I do not understand your point system. Why did it go 50 and then you added 75 and then you added 175?
I didn't go to college.
You did.
So.
You went for one day.
But we're not done there. Mark is full of gratitude. We're going to give him 5 points. John A. is officially comfortable in her own skin. That's another 5 points. According to Yes, his own kids didn't believe in him. -10. And then you know what? An honorary 100 points to Mark for making this whole thing happen.
Yeah.
And those, ladies and gentlemen, are your fantasy points to wrap up what has been All-Stars. This segment was not mentioned at the top. This segment is brought to you by Starter. Just do it. But for now, we're going to take a quick break. Feel free to run to the restroom. Feel free to grab a snack. We'll be right back. And we're back, everybody. I hope you had a good pee session. I hope you grabbed some Cheez-Its or something. Again, one last time, that segment was brought to you by Starter. Just do it. You can find it at your local Walmart. Zach, take it away.
Take it away. Well, I mean, Hannah's was easy. She had one person. You really pulled Mark along by giving him that 100 points at the end. Otherwise, he would have finished for 30 for the finale.
Okay.
So he ended up with 130. So that puts Hannah in third place.
Yeah, I know.
At 1,020 points for the season. I mean, Jake, you're at 1,230 before this episode started. For me, Alton got me 50. Darrell got me 155. Kellyanne got me 110. Hasela got me -40. So I ended up with 275 for the week and 1,155 for the season. So that puts me in second place.
Solid.
Jake, Derek got you -40. Ruthie got you 5. Anissa got you 60. Big Easy got you 5. Jimmy got you -50. By the way, if you didn't have Yes, you'd have been screwed.
Is that for real?
Yeah, for honestly,
with Jimmy brought you down.
You had, if you didn't have Yes on there, let me do it real quick. You would have been -20 points without Yes.
Would you have won?
If Yes was on my team, yeah. But Yes got you 405 points because you gave him 300 for winning.
Well earned too.
Yeah, so you ended up with 385 for the week, even though Yes got you 405. And so you ended up with 1615 for the if Yes would have been on my team, obviously, yeah, that would have made me won. But I mean, you won by 400 and something points, which was basically what his scoring was.
I couldn't have picked a better team. I'm proud of all my guys. They gave a great effort.
I disagree with that, but you picked the right person.
It was good. It was a good run. I had people contribute all throughout the season. I would say for consistency, Anissa was the MVP of my team. I felt like she was always giving me, 40, 50 points a week. John A's the real missed opportunity here. None of us saw this coming.
She got 140 for this. She got more than Mark did in the final.
Yeah.
She pretty well blew me away.
She actually, other than Yes and Darrell, she scored third highest in the final.
She was great. It's been a fun ride. This has been a good time.
Of your Double Agents fantasy. Everyone went home on Double Agents for you. On this one, everyone but Arissa stayed.
I had a complete opposite season as well.
Yeah.
All of my people, it's been me and Mark for a while. And then Double Agents, I had most of my team the entire season.
But guess what? I won Double Agents and Jake's won this. So now you're in the hot seat.
So we're all, if you average these 2 seasons we've done together fantasy wise, Hannah and I each have a first and a third place finish, and Zach, you have a first and a second place finish. So
I guess technically, Hannah doesn't have a first place.
No, I don't
finish.
have a first place.
Oh, that's right.
I would be in first overall.
Yeah.
You would be second, and then she would be in third. So this next season, you're gonna have to
step it up or get out of the house.
He's gonna vote you off.
It's my house.
So yeah, like I said at the top of the show, patreon.com/SmashingHeads podcast. We've got some things we're going to be previewing on there before it goes out to the public, and then we will put up a poll for the next season that we're going to watch. Just remember that it's got to be something either on Netflix or Paramount Plus, because it's got to be something that's widely accessible. And then, whenever season 37 starts rolling, hopefully they'll do 37. And then when that's over, immediately roll into All Stars 2 or whatever it is, instead of overlapping them. But it's been a fun show. We'll talk about maybe a reunion, because there looked like there possibly were some things to talk about with this reunion, but who knows? That may be a Patreon thing. So again, patreon.com/SmashingHeadsPodcast, SmashingHeadsPodcast.com/store for merch, and follow us on Twitter at Smashing Heads and on Facebook and Instagram at Smashing Heads Podcast.
Have a good night, everyone.